Welcome, Greek U Nation, to episode number 352 of the Fraternity Foodie Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Ayalon, CEO of Greek University. I'm a speaker and an author. Our third book is called From Letters to Leaders, Leveraging Your Fraternity or Sorority Experience to Land Your Dream Job. It is on Amazon. Go and pick up that book today. We call these episodes the Fraternity Foodie Podcast because there is nothing like great food to bring fraternity and sorority members together. Fun fact, I actually love watching HGTV because I love this idea of just like flipping houses, making money, and I really enjoy all the design work that I see on these shows. Now, I have zero design ability when it comes to homes, so I always hire a professional that's able to pull it all together for me. And our next guest has been on many of these shows on HGTV and A&E, so I wanted to share her with our listening audience today. Our next guest was named a House Beautiful Next Wave designer and Philadelphia Tribune's most influential. This is founder and principal designer Rasheeda Gray, and her design journey began after a decade-long C-suite career in marketing. Rasheeda holds a Bachelor of Science in Marketing and International Business, a design certification from Temple University, and a master's in business administration. Rasheeda's community work also includes mentoring design students from Drexel and New York School of Interior Design, Temple, and much more. She's also a guest speaker at many career days across Philadelphia and has donated design services to local school teachers' lounges in partnerships with PTOs in the Philadelphia area. Rasheeda is a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated and also serves the co-founder of Gray Real Estate Group, a real estate development company, alongside her husband, Jake. Together, they have two children, Jacob Jr. and Kennedy. Welcome to the show. It is so good to have you, Rasheeda.
Thank you so much, Michael. It sounds amazing when you do the introduction. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. You know, when you're speaking on all of these college campuses, this upcoming semester, if you just want to pack me away into your suitcase, I can do those intros for you, on stages all across America. Just tuck me into the suitcase. That's all.
That's great.
I'm available.
Yes, right?
All right. So we want to talk a little bit about your college experience because you ended up at Westchester University in Pennsylvania, which happens to be the same exact university that my wife graduated from. So what made you choose Westchester?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me, Michael. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to talk with students today and just share a little bit about my journey and sort of how I got where I am. But it all started at Westchester. And so how did I end up there? I would say it was a combination of the diversity that's on the campus at Westchester. It was very familiar to me. I think it's about 20% diverse. So that worked well for me. The distance, it was far enough where I felt as if I would have a college experience, but close enough where I could get back home. And, being a girl from Philly, home is probably about a 3-mile radius around the entire city. So didn't want to go too far. And then I would say the quality of education. Westchester is an excellent state school. I sort of knew early on that I didn't want to be in an extreme amount of debt. And so Westchester kind of fit the bill for all three of those areas.
I love it. That's a great answer. And that town is so cute too. I mean, I love like Iron Hill Brewery over there.
Yes.
All of that. I mean, that town is cute.
Have you ever been to Limoncello?
That's really cute. I like that little town there. It reminds me a lot of where we are in Franklin, Tennessee. Just a really cute town, a lot of shops, a lot of bars and restaurants. And I mean, there's a little bit of, everything. You don't have to go into Philly, if you don't want to. There's plenty to do locally. So I love that place. That is just a great institution and a lot of really close friends and fraternity brothers that are all there. So you joined Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. What made you want to join this particular sorority?
Well, I guess I would start by saying, first and foremost, Delta is a sorority that's principles is founded or rooted in scholarship, sisterhood, and service. And so if I could break those down, it was the service and the social action that sort of drew me initially. And so, walking around campus, I would see women of Delta, and I sort of saw myself in those women. And then when I got to know a bit more about the sorority and the work that they do, I mean, Delta is really heavily rooted in social action and politics and really just making a change in our everyday communities. Our organization has over 300,000 members, 1,000 chapters. And as you know, Michael, being a part of a historically Black college or fraternity is a lifetime commitment.
Yes.
And so those 300,000 members are part of your sisterhood for a lifetime. So, it was the service work that was done on campus and nationally with everyone from, let's say, like Shirley Chisholm, who is the first woman to ever run for president of the United States, to our first Black woman, to someone as recent as Marsha Fudge, who is a part of our political system now. It was seeing those women on a national basis and then the women on my campus at Westchester that really drew me into the sisterhood. And it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Yeah, I mean, I love seeing all the proud leaders and NPHC organizations today leading the way in politics. I mean, from the White House all the way down. I mean, I love it. I absolutely love it. And you're right. I mean, NPHC organizations, this is a commitment for life. And I feel like in IFC and Panhellenic organizations, I feel like it's just something that we do for 4 years and then nothing. And I'm like, wait a minute, you made a commitment at the altar for life. What is this now? You did this in college. No. You are a member today. Don't tell me I was a member. No. You are a member.
Yes.
Let's get it straight.
That's right. Once and always. Yes.
Once and always. Oh man. All right. So I love that. That's like one of my favorite parts about you. And so you worked for Chubb as an assistant vice president of marketing and communications.
Yeah.
So what did you learn in that particular role?
So let me backtrack a little bit about sort of my journey. I knew that I've always been a creative. Like, how did I end up at Chubb? And then how did I become an interior designer? So I knew that I've always been creative. And throughout my childhood and young adult life, I just sort of dabbed into different creative outlets. So as a child, I think I was a painter for about a year. I was a seamstress for another year. And so I was just trying to figure out what my niche was. And at Westchester, I founded I guess you would say like a modeling group. So there were young women who put together fashion shows. And so at that time, really fashion was an outlet for me. But you go to college and you get sort of a safe major. So my closest major to being creative, I thought at the time that would actually land me a job when I graduated was marketing. So that's how I ended up in marketing. Fast forward about 7 years into my career, I landed a job with Chubb Insurance. And as assistant vice president of marketing, I would say there were really two sets of takeaways that I learned. One was hard skills and soft skills. So hard skills, those are the obvious ones. Those are, working technical programs like Microsoft Excel. Those are like financial and budget management. Those are things like learning Salesforce and all those things. So those hard skills were learned throughout my tenure at Chubb. But then also the soft skills that you sort of don't pay much attention to, but they become invaluable throughout your entire life. So some of those soft skills were interpersonal skills and communication. How do you communicate with clients and partners and vendors in a way that's effective, efficient, and really sort of gives them the information they need? And that's on email and in person. I would say also teamwork is critical. That's a soft skill, and we learn it throughout school and definitely at university. But when you're in a corporate setting, you're working on a project and there's minimal sort of guidance, that teamwork impact is really important. And I think that's where you sort of learn what your zone of genius is. And so in that teamwork process, I learned what I was really good at. So that's another soft skill. I want to say one critical soft skill that I learned is the power of mentorship. I had a mentor probably about 3 years after I graduated college. So 3 years into my corporate career, I was a part of an employee resource group, which is increasingly popular now in corporate America and very valuable. And I was assigned a mentor through that group. And I learned sort of how to build this mentor-mentee relationship, making sure that I, as the mentee, came prepared. So I'm maximizing the mentor's time. But with that mentor, I learned one, I don't have to recreate the wheel. That mentor shared with me mistakes that they may have made in their corporate life that I can avoid. I think also I learned sort of how to leverage resources. So that mentor sort of gave me the confidence to say, hey, I'm working on a project. I need help in this area. Do you have a connection for that? I still use mentor mentee relationships in my everyday life, even as an entrepreneur. And so I am currently both a mentor and a mentee. And I just think it's to whom much is given, much is required. And maybe that's a fraternity and sorority thing as well. But I'm always forever a student. And so that soft skill of mentorship has stayed with me since even my days in college, but definitely in my career at Chubb.
Man, I love that answer. That answer is so full of all amazing stuff there. All right, so now you founded Gray Space Interior Design in 2016. You've completed over 100 residential and commercial projects all throughout Philly, New Jersey, Delaware. Talk to our audience about what is the best part about being an entrepreneur and building out this vision.
I think the best part is the fact that, and take this as you will, but the fact that we get to impact someone's life on a day-to-day basis while doing what I love. And
Mm.
so I found entrepreneurship found me when I was 33 years old. And so I spent almost 15 years in corporate, sort of self-discovering what I loved, what I didn't love. And so it came to me a little later in life. And so because of that experience, because of my time in corporate, because I had spent some time doing jobs that I didn't love, that I thought I would, I value and hold it very closely to the heart that I get to do what I love every single day. Now, is every day perfect? No. Are there challenges? Are there some parts of the job that I don't love? Of course. But I get to do what I love and it makes a difference in the lives of others. I really think that when someone has a home or a room or an office that reflects who they are, that's professionally designed, that they are their best selves, they are most efficient, they are joyful in the space. So that's my favorite part about being an entrepreneur, doing what I love.
I love it. That's a great answer. And you and I are perfectly aligned in that way.
Yeah.
We're both doing what we love every single day, and we're helping other people. And I think it does come back to fraternity and sorority in that way. Like you should have fun in that experience. It should be fun. If it's not fun, you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
And we should be helping people in the process. Like we're dedicated to doing service and giving back to our community. And if we're making this world a better place for people with our clients, I mean, what's better than that? There's
There's
nothing
nothing
better.
better than that. And it took me a while to make that connection too, because when I finally landed on interior design, I was like, well, I was soul searching. I was in corporate America. I was not happy with the work I was doing. It was impactful in some ways. I was marketing and helping insurance brokers market. It was great, but I didn't feel sort of a connection to the work I was doing. So I was soul searching. I was like, what am I here to do? What's the purpose? And when I sort of discovered interior design, I was like, well, fluffing pillows and, selecting fabrics, that's purpose. But then when I dug deeper and I realized, even for myself, how I feel when I'm in an office that's designed specifically for me, or what it does when I get to work on a bedroom for a couple who is just sort of looking to retreat from everyday life, or a playroom for kids. Like it's deeper than sort of what you see on the surface. So I would encourage students that when you are looking for what sparks joy for you, what your purpose is, one, it may not happen right away while you're in university. It may take another career before it comes to you. But then two, kind of dig deep and find out like what problem am I solving and what need am I addressing? And then that's where you can find sort of the intersection of purpose meets really giving back to the world.
Yeah, those are wise words right there. And absolutely, I agree with you. I graduated with a degree in accounting and realized I hate this. This
Yes.
debits and credits is driving me crazy. It's not creative at all. Creative accountants end up in jail. This is not the place for creativity. I got to get out of here.
Black and white.
Yeah, it's a black and white. That's it. There's nothing in the middle. And I was like, this is absolutely driving me nuts. I'm going to go bananas in here. And I had to leave. But you know what, though? You still take all of those lessons and you still learn and use those things every single day. If you think that I was going to be a successful entrepreneur without that accounting background and understanding balance sheet and income statement and how to run a business like deep, then I mean, you're not paying attention. That's really important foundation to becoming a successful entrepreneur. So I love it. This is really good stuff. Now, your work has been celebrated across many media outlets. A&E's Sell This House, HGTV's Flea Market Flip, various publications. I'm talking about Architectural Digest, Boston Globe, Better Homes and Gardens, Elle Decor, Philadelphia Magazine, the Philadelphia Inquirer, and you're a resident design expert over at Good Day Philadelphia. Hello. So how are you able to get so much media attention for your entrepreneurial business?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that shout out.
I mean, I'm in awe. I mean, just tell me how you do it.
It is honestly, Michael, it's just what you just said. You went to school for accounting and you're using it every single day in your business.
Yes.
That's exactly what I did. And I didn't realize that early on. So, I'm deciding that I want to be an interior designer. And I'm like, oh gosh, I went to school for my undergrad and my grad degree. I have all this student loan debt, and I'm not even working in the field that I studied. But then as soon as I became a business owner, I was like, marketing is a critical portion of running a business. And so I use those transferable skills and leverage that in my business. So that marketing degree is what I use almost every single day to pitch those media outlets. So it's a combination of the hard skills that I learned in undergrad, and then combining it with some of those soft skills that I learned in corporate. So marketing technicalities, understanding who your target market is, creating messaging that speaks to that target market. Like I know my avatar, if you took a marketing course, probably know who's your target market. My avatar is Nicole, and Nicole is a busy C-suite executive, or she's an entrepreneur running a business. She wants her home to reflect her lifestyle, but she doesn't have time to do it or the desire. And so she's going to bring in a designer to help her. And I know that Nicole is probably scrolling Instagram at 9 p.m. to unwind from the day. And she's probably picking up an issue of Architectural Digest. And so now I know who she is. I know what I want to say to her, and I know where to find her. So I try to show up in those places. But the soft skills part of this is networking and building relationships. And so within your industry that you're interested in, that you're in, it's important to find those key players and build relationships with them. So I have a news anchor from Good Day Philadelphia on speed dial, and we text message all the time. And it took 3 years of me sort of knocking on the door to get in. But then, in our design industry, if I'm at a conference, I'm going to make the uncomfortable decision to walk up to an editor at a magazine just to introduce myself. I may not be ready to pitch myself. I may not have the project that is a good fit for the magazine yet, but I'm going to one day. So I'm going to pitch myself. I'm going to make the connection initially so that I can create a relationship. And a relationship is not one-sided. It's two-sided. And so if they have a book that they have released, you support that. If they're talking somewhere, you try to support that. So it's all of those things, Michael. It's the hard skills of marketing, learned to undergrad, honed in corporate America, plus the soft skills of networking, communication, and building a relationship.
Man, that answer is straight fire. I mean, straight fire. Just listen to that, rewind, go back and listen to that again. I mean, she's talking about patience for 3 years to get a relationship built to get on TV. I
Yeah.
mean, oh my God, man, oh man, I love every part of it. I mean, you're patient and you're persistent and you're not willing to give up. You're not willing to quit. And that's what it takes to be a good entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
That
Thank
is
you.
so great. Absolutely.
It's a
So if
hustle. It's a hustle, right, Michael?
it's
I
a
mean,
hustle,
people
yeah,
try to
people don't
say that
understand.
word, but
Right,
you have to put in the work.
right.
So, and I think
Yeah.
we all know that.
I think that's the thing. I mean, you have to put in the work. That is the bottom line. There is no shortcut. You have to put in the work.
Yeah.
Believe me, if there was a shortcut, we would all be successful entrepreneurs. Okay. The reality is it's a hustle and it takes work. So if one of our student listeners are listening to your words right now and they want to be an entrepreneur, they have an idea of some new product or new service that they want to bring to the world. What is your advice to them?
I would say I can speak off of experience. So I would recommend to test the market first. Um, Test the market either through sort of softly launching the product or service, but still having a part-time job, a full-time job in the background. So that's what I did for 3.5 years. I built the business as well as I had a full-time job as an assistant vice president in marketing. I didn't sleep, but for me, I wanted to make sure I was taking a calculated risk. And so I would say test the market by soft launching your product or service, listen to market feedback, make changes, tweak. And listen, I secretly say my corporate job was my first investor in my business because I got to figure it out while I still had a full-time salary.
Mhm.
So I would say sort of take it slow and test the market. And then just these are, not exciting tips, but they're real. The other thing is to save your money, save your coins, and really prepare for entrepreneurship. There are going to be highs and lows, especially in the beginning. And, an entrepreneur who is living client to client might make some bad decisions on new clients to work with or new products to launch, are decisions based off of a need or just sort of like I need to get the next job, as opposed to someone who has savings and can make calculated decisions and risk. So I would say make sure that you have a savings and make sure you have an ability to test the market until you have a proven product.
Yeah, you and I are like twins separated at birth. What happened with me was I had this accounting job that I was absolutely miserable in, and
Yep.
I actually was in web design and search engine optimization before I started this company, and that company is still very successful. But I was doing that at night and on the weekends. I basically was taking new clients. I was building websites for them that looked appealing. And also, this was like in the infancy of Google, and I was actually testing out strategies on how to be the number one ranked site for a particular keyword on Google naturally without paying for it. And
Yep.
so I was testing these techniques, and sure enough, they were working. And my clients were like over the moon because they were making sales like no tomorrow. And so, there came a point where like I had so many checks coming into me in the mail, and I was making more money at night and on the weekends than I was during my day job as a CFO in Manhattan. Okay. And I literally showed it to my wife. I'm like, here's all the checks. And she's like, Mike, this is it. I'm like,
Yeah.
she's like, just quit your job.
Yeah.
That was the point where I knew it was time to fly.
That's
Right.
right.
So anyway, so yeah,
I
I
had the
totally
same
agree.
experience. Same
Yeah.
experience.
Same
Yeah.
experience there.
Yeah.
And being an entrepreneur, it looks really sexy. Like I understand why people want to do that, but it's not always easy. And
Mhm.
so is there anything you would have done differently if you had a do-over?
I would say if I had a do-over, I mean, listen, everything in life is not regrets, but lessons. But if I had a do-over, I would say I probably would work for a design firm for a little while. It was a totally new industry to me. You sort of don't know what you don't know. And
Right.
so I'm sure there's just some sort of norms that I would have picked up by working. I know how to run a business. And I know I love design. I'm passionate about it. And there's a talent there, but what's missing is like how to run a design firm. And so I had to learn that the slow way, the hard way over the last 7 years. So I would have done that. I would have worked for someone.
Yeah. See, I worked for somebody first before I became an entrepreneur. And what I discovered was they were the systems. He was using a CRM package, a customer relationship management package, where he was communicating with all of his customers and then leaving notes and, capturing their birthday, the name of their dog, their wife's name, all of this
Wow.
information and documenting everything. And it basically was creating what you had to do that particular day in terms of your activity. This whole system was making the activities. So I
Yeah.
never wake up every day figuring out what am I supposed to do today. The
Right.
system, the CRM package tells me what it's time to do, and it will ring at me when it's time to send an email, to make a phone call, to send a video, or what have you. And all of these things, none of this is taught in college. So the
Nope.
only way that I learned how to do it was working alongside another CEO and watching his systems and then implementing it myself in the entrepreneurial business.
That's it.
So luckily I had that where you didn't, and I could see how those systems would have been helpful if you knew that right away.
Mhm. Yep, for
That's
sure.
really, really good. Now, also being a member of Delta, that has certainly helped you in terms of building new relationships in your business. Talk to us about the importance of relationships and how you're able to grow the business leveraging those relationships.
I'm telling you, relationships are currency. Relationships are money in your pocket. And Delta is a huge part of that. And so I've been a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated for 14 years now. And I would say about a third of my business, my design business, is a result of Delta, whether it's directly with another sorority member or if it's a referral or a connection or a resource. And especially early on. My business is sort of a want, it's a luxury high-end service. And so family and friends, they would love to support me as much as possible, but it's not something that everyone needs every day. But having that network of 300,000 plus, 1,000 chapters, of course, I don't know every member of Delta, but that's a vast network that helps in getting the word out about your business. So, yeah, huge
That's
part.
that's a great answer. See, like I'm on TikTok and other places around social media, and you always hear like this thing of, oh, you're buying your friends. Okay, you join a fraternity or you join a sorority. I'm like, please, as
Yeah.
an entrepreneur, I would pay those dues. I would double the dues
Yep.
that I paid in high school or in
Yep.
high school and college, knowing what I know now and how much business
Yeah.
that has gotten me over the years. So if
Yeah.
you think that you're paying for your friends, let me tell you something.
Uh,
That's the network that is going to be gold to you in the future if you understand how to leverage
that's right. That's
it.
right. That's right. That's
So
it.
I'm so glad that you shared that because I think that's a common misconception, which is just not true for so many reasons. I mean, I could have a whole show dedicated to why
Oh,
that's
I know.
bad.
I'm trying to hold myself back because I'm like, well, you guys, if you're joining the same sorority or fraternity, you have similar goals and you're like-minded and all those things. So you would have eventually became friends or sort of met through another way in college. So yeah, I don't agree with that either, Michael, that you're buying your friends. I think it is the money is sort of just a technicality so that the chapters can continue to run,
Right.
but you guys are of kindred spirits, so you would have connected either ways.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's connected, that those kindred minds, that spirits that are coming together. You can do amazing things
Yep.
when you and the people around you are all aligned in a
Yeah.
mission. And
Yeah.
so instead of it's just, Rasheeda and I, 1+1 = 2. Actually, when the two of us come together, it's actually 1+1 = 3
That's
because
right.
we're kindred minds, we're kindred spirits. We have the same mission and goals in life, and we
Yeah.
can do some pretty incredible things when we're aligned. And
Yep.
I think that piece is what people don't really understand. Unless you're in it, you don't really understand that concept. So
That's right.
this has been so helpful and such a great interview for so many reasons. I'm so happy that we got put together. So now we do love good food here at the Fraternity Foodie Podcast. And I get the sense that you love a really great meal in Philadelphia too. So
Yeah.
where should I be going for a great meal in Philadelphia? Philadelphia, you tell me.
There are so many good places to eat in Philadelphia. There's so
Yeah.
many great cuisines, but I'm going to keep it basic. I'm going to keep it simple. You got to get a good Philly cheesesteak.
Yes. So where do
So,
you go? Because there's a big debate on that.
right. Okay. Hands down, number one place, Delisandro's. There's no Jim's, there's no Pat's, there's no Geno's. They're okay. They're touristy. If you
Yeah.
want to know where the real cheesesteaks are, head over to the Roxborough neighborhood and go to Delisandro's. Now, I just had for the first time another cheesesteak. It's Steve's Princess Steaks.
Yeah.
That was amazing. So instead of like the chop steak, it's like full strips of steak. It's like a gourmet cheesesteak. It's so good. So either way, you can't go wrong. Delisandro's or Steve's Princess Steaks.
Excellent recommendations. I love that you're going to restaurants outside of the tourist area. We do the
Yes,
same thing in Nashville. I don't
right.
go to Broadway in Nashville, okay? I live here. So I go somewhere else where the tourists are not at. That's what you
That's
need to
right.
understand.
Now there is a line at Delisandro's. Probably going to be about an hour to get a cheesesteak, but that's how good it is.
That's incredible. I love that recommendation. All right. So if our college student listeners, I'm sure they love you right now. So if they want to bring you in to speak about entrepreneurship or building relationships and the importance of relationships over a lifetime, where should they go to connect with you?
Absolutely. So you can find me on social media, Gray Space Interiors, the color gray, Gray. And then we're also online, grayspaceinteriors.com.
Fantastic. Rasheeda, you are amazing. And so thank you so much for sharing all of your wisdom on entrepreneurship and relationships and everything sorority with Delta Sigma Theta, Sorority Incorporated. I'm just proud to know you. And thank you so much for being on the show.
Same here, Michael. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. And to our listening audience, if you enjoyed this conversation with Rasheeda, I need you to like this on social media. I need you to share this with other college students that need to hear Rasheeda's words. And we hope to see you on another episode of the Fraternity Foodie Podcast. Thanks so much for joining us, and we're going to see you next time.